長官ユナイテッドエンパイア今日は試合があったそして彼がエンパイアのちょっと応援してくれるんですよみんなブローキンテーブルポッドキャストよろしく
straight to Rome's. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Broken Tables podcast. I am your host, Jeffrey Vegas, here as always with our co-host, King Rome. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing pretty great.
Excellent, excellent. All right, welcome everybody to the podcast. This is episode number 73. We are here tonight with our AEW Dynamite review, and I thought this was a absolutely fantastic Dynamite. Again, 2 weeks in a row. I think Tony put on an absolute banger. We started off with Moxley. We ended with a Danielson versus Jericho. You know what I mean? Like, that was such a good way to open and close this entire show. I thought from open to close, we had A+, man. What did you think?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. There was a lot of really great stuff on this show. Some fresh matchups, setting up for Grand Slam next week. And yeah, I had a blast all the way through.
Nice. Yeah, me too. So let's see who's in the chat here. We got Joseph Juhas. Welcome, sir. So welcome everybody, and let's go ahead and get started here. We started off with Jon Moxley versus Sammy Guevara right off the bat. This was nice. I really like when they start off the episodes of Rampage just right away with a match, you know, so I actually really enjoyed this one here. We did get entrances, though. It wasn't like Rampage where there were no entrances. There was an entrance for Moxley and for Sammy Guevara. Sammy did not come out with Ty Conti. I was very shocked to see that. I was definitely expecting Ty Conti to come out with him. Were you?
A little bit, but I think it's explained later on in the match.
Absolutely, you're completely right there.
Yeah.
So huge pop for Moxley, man. This dude, somebody pointed it out on Twitter that every time AEW has needed a hero, man, Moxley's been the guy to step up, you know. He was supposed to go on a 6-week vacation, apparently, we're hearing. And, you know, he stepped up to be in this tournament here and to cut a couple of those promos. The one that I said was his best promo of all time. You know, so cahoots to him, or whatever you want to say. Congrats to him, man, for being like the hero of AEW. So I love it.
Yeah, he's definitely doing everything. You know, he's being there for the company when they really need him. I mean, the company has shown a lot of perseverance the last few weeks. I mean, again, like we talked about it last week, we're talking about it again tonight. It was just a great episode of Dynamite. It doesn't really seem to matter that CM Punk and the Bucks and Kenny aren't there. It just doesn't, like, this show was excellent without them, and there's plenty of great star power there. You know, and Maduja in the chat, like, really I'm vibing with what he's saying right now. He's talking about how, like, the show and Twitter are just so polar opposites. And I'm not gonna lie, like, I've been off of, I mean, like, I'm keeping up with social media for the sake of news, but like I've been kind of stepping back because it's just the negativity is too much, and there's so much reporting going on that's like, you know, like a lot of it tends to be fake and not true, and it's just depressing. Like it's really awful. And then you go and watch these shows, and you're like, I'm having a great time watching these shows. Like Dynamite, the past 2 weeks have been fucking phenomenal, and it's just. Yeah, it's just excellent, man. And like you said, they opened up with Mox and Sammy. And I thought this was a really excellent match, man. Again, a whole night full of great matches.
Yeah, and I think Miyoja hit it right on the head there. You know, Dynamite cheered me up after so much negativity on Twitter. I'm with you, man. I was pretty much staying off. I was going on there, but only to post my stuff. I was definitely not scrolling like I usually do. And, you know, it's just been, you know, one of those downer couple of weeks. You know, it is what it is. But yeah, this was a great match. Sammy hit a really, really cool Spanish fly when Moxley was about to hit him with a lariat. And I think I just accidentally called Sammy a nickname we might want to give him. I called him Spammy there for a second. He does like to spam moves. But this was a great match. I actually enjoy Sammy in you know, in this match. I think this went about 15 minutes. This was great. Obviously
Yeah.
John Moxley picks up the win here after reversing the go to hell into the, you know, paradigm shift. This was great.
Yeah, I really love this match. I love the story that this match told about how Sammy needed to not let it become a brawl, which eventually it evolves into, which became Mox's game, which leads up to Mox getting the win. I thought that was really smartly done. I thought Sammy had some good heat tonight. I would not have classified it as go away heat. So he was
No, not
working
at
his
all.
game. He was getting some great heat too. Like you said, the match ends. Ty Mello and Anna Jay come out for the interference. Ty low blows Mox. It's not enough. Mox kicks out of the pin, hits the Death Rider. The crowd blew up when this match ended.
Oh
And
yeah.
I thought it was kind of an interesting crowd because throughout the night, the crowd wasn't dead necessarily, but like they were waiting for the spots where they needed to blow up, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It was a really odd crowd because like they were there and
They were
like
waiting for MJF.
it wasn't just MJF. Like you could see throughout the night, and I'll address it as we go. But there are times in this show where the crowd just flips the fuck out,
Yeah.
and they become a hot crowd. Like it's almost like they were just kind of like they wanted to watch the wrestling, and then when it was time to get on their feet, they were ready for it, which is interesting.
Yeah, you know, I thought their crowd was pretty decent here tonight, but I do agree with you that they were louder for the moments that they felt needed it more. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, definitely. I think though that Sammy did some great work tonight. Like I said, Mox generational as always. I would also like to start a petition to get William Regal on commentary full time
yeah,
because I need that. It's just another week of good commentary work by Regal. And then also towards the end of the match, we got a little bit of news for the folks in the Pacific Northwest. AEW will be making its debut in the Pacific Northwest next year in Seattle, Washington, for a live Dynamite on January 4th, 2023.
okay, nice. That's the city that me and Purple technically got married in. Like, even though we
Nice.
got married on a cruise to Alaska, we had to have like a city that we departed from, so it was Seattle. So.
Gotcha.
All right, so after the match, Excalibur informs us right before the commercial that MJF was demanding the microphone. So we come back from a commercial, MJF's music hits. He immediately is yelling, "Cut my music," and he comes out guns blazing on this crowd. He tried as hard as he could to get this crowd to boo him. They were having none of it, and they gave him the loudest pops of the night. And it was one of the funniest. Like you said, this crowd was weird. So he insulted the crowd multiple times, like with specific things, like these guys are absolute morons and scumbags. And they were like, yeah, they were like cheering it. I thought it was one of the funniest things. It was one of my favorite crowd interactions of the year so far. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's nothing against MJF, but I mean, they have to be kind of careful here. MJF's really over right now,
Yeah.
and like I know that they say any reaction is what you want, and that's still true. But I mean, you're trying to make MJF your biggest heel, like one of the biggest heels like of all time. You could just tell just based in the contents of his promos since he's come back. And just the fans are not having it. They want to cheer for MJF. They want him to be, you know, I don't even know if it's the babyface. I mean, I guess it is. They want to cheer for him. They really like him and they want to like him. And that's not what they're going for, which again, up to your interpretation if you view that as good or bad.
I
But,
definitely see it as being good, and I don't think MJF has to change his character at all. I think the fans are perfectly fine with him being just like this, and they're gonna cheer it. You know what I mean? Like, I think we've gotten to the point as wrestling fans where, you know, when someone like MJF says that to them, they're kind of just like, yeah, you know, they just embrace it rather than boo like back in the 90s. But I think
oh
it's
yeah,
good. I think it was great. I didn't think it was a bad thing at all that he couldn't get them to boo him, but we'll see where it leads in the future. You could be right, or you know, I think it just
yeah.
leads
Again,
to a great character.
I don't know if I necessarily think it's a good thing or a bad thing. It was just an observation that I made that MJF really was doing very good work tonight
Yeah.
to get people to boo him, and it didn't work. It's not that the
Nope.
promo was bad, it's not that the work was bad, it's not that it's MJF's fault. People just really like MJF, so I don't know exactly how well that's going to go in moments where you want him to be booed out of the building.
Yeah.
I just don't know how that's going to go. So it's something to keep in mind of. But no, this was an excellent promo from MJF. He comes out, he's pissed. He's pissed that Mox isn't afraid of him. He talks about how he's not the same kid that faced Mox during the pandemic when they did the whole the campaign election thing. MJF was playing around, now he's serious. He says that Moxley's just a character. And he talks about like how Mox was probably bullied and stuff like that growing up. And then MJF goes and proceeds to bully the cameraman. And he tells the cameraman to stand in the corner, which I thought was really interesting because it's a very unique camera angle that not a lot of the wrestlers do, but MJF does. And it's kind of becoming a staple for him. This kind of stand in the corner camera shot, which it's not like a new thing, but
Yeah.
like all of his promos are filmed that way, I've noticed. And I just think that's really nice. I also just love the delivery of MJF. Something about just the way he kind of stares into like at you, the viewer at home. It's just
it's great. It's great. He's
yeah,
one of the best
on,
in the
just
business
looking at
right
the
now.
camera the entire time, eyes fixated on the camera lens, and just it's excellent.
100%. All right, so MJF introduces his new stable, Stokely Hathaway and the Firm. I like the name. Oh, go ahead.
So I want to correct you here because I picked up on context clues. This is not MJF's new stable. So what the Firm is, I don't want to step on you, but I kind of wanted to
good.
point this out before you went too far into it, because they say
I thought he actually said that.
What was it?
I thought he actually said that. I don't know if he said my stable, but I do believe he said the stable.
No, so he said that the Firm is a faction on what was it? I'm looking through my notes. I wrote it down.
You're talking about what Stokely said. So MJF said, I'm going to introduce you to the faction of the guys who helped me, who handed me the chip. He said Stokely Hathaway and the Firm. And then they came out, and then he left the ring immediately. And then Stokely explained what they were, right?
Yeah, okay, so I found it. So they refer to the Firm as a stable on retainer. So, like, the way I interpret it, especially when you have MJF leave the ring, this is not an MJF faction. MJF is best friends with Stokely, and MJF will use the Firm.
I agree.
It seems to me like the Firm is kind of more so like Stokely's group, and when Stokely needs to use them, he will. But Stokely even makes it clear in the promo. He said, this will probably be one of the last times you actually see us all in the same place at the same time.
Yeah.
Because the whole point of the Firm, and it was a really interesting take on this, the whole point of the Firm is every single person and the Gun Club, every single unit in the faction, they have their own goals and like, you know, their own reason for doing things and what they want, their goals and whatnot. And it's just like, okay, well, we're a group and we're going to come together and help each other. But at the same time, you know, we all have things we want to do. Like Ethan Page wants to chase the All-Atlantic title. So Ethan Page is going to go do that. And, you know, you might not see him every week with the Gun Club. That doesn't mean that they're not a group. They're going to be brought in kind of like an Avengers kind of thing, almost. Where it's like, hey, when we need everyone, we'll call you guys. Like, that was the way I looked at it, with kind of Stokely being like kind of like their manager for each of them. And I thought it was like a really interesting concept for a group.
Yeah, and you know what it felt like to me is it felt like, so in the future when we see these guys split up the way he was talking about, we're not going to be wondering like, hey, where's the rest of the group at? Like, why are these guys by themselves? You know, so they answered those questions right away. So I think that's what that was. That was like a preemptive strike of like answering all of these questions that we might have over the next couple weeks. I think they just answered them for us right away. So I liked it.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see how it goes. Again, I could be wrong about this, and maybe we see the firm with MJF every single week. But like the way I interpreted this whole segment, especially again with MJF leaving the ring and like letting them do their thing, like that was it just seemed like that.
Yeah.
But so Stokely, he explains that everything that he's done in AEW up to this point, he was being a fraud. He was lying. He was trying to learn things like it was all a sham. And then he's like, this is who I am. I'm not a manager. I'm not a broker. I'm not like any of this shit. I'm just here. I'm a friend.
I thought he was about to say I'm a wrestler again or something. I was like, whoa, where is he going with this? But you know, he just kind of. He's like, I'm not anything. Don't label me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I like how he was talking about how like he's picked up a lot of blackmail, and that blackmail turns him on.
Yo, he used.
But again,
I'm sorry. He used like a bunch of words that had the word black in them. Like it was kind of cool the way he was doing that. I don't know if he was like, I don't know if that was like a poetry type thing, but he kept using different like words that had the word black in them. It was cool.
Possibly. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with this faction with the firm. I'm excited for it. I thought it was a great segment. It kind of it showed everyone's motives, including Morrissey, where he's like, "I love you, big guy," and Morrissey's just staring blankly. He's like, "I don't know if you heard me, but I love you." He's like, "Yeah, I know. I'm trying to be
Dude,
tough."
when he hugged him, I lost it. I was laughing so hard when he was hugging him. Stokely was like, "I love you," and he just kind of wrapped him up and hugged him, and Morrissey just stood there like, okay.
Yeah.
But Ethan Page, man, what do you think about him making this the All Canadian Championship?
Well, I mean, the Canadian flag is one of the flags on the All Atlantic Championship.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to Canada in October.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what they want to do with that.
Let's do it.
It's cool to get the All Atlantic again on TV. I mean, Pac was defending it, abroad when he was home, and now he's touring with AEW again. He's defending it in AEW, and I mean, I think that's kind of one of the big things that with the All Atlantic Championship, where I feel like they're just going to keep having guys who do live, or at least can travel or will travel. But I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, next up was a quick Jungle Boy Jack Perry video promo, basically saying, he's got an open challenge going out there. And then immediately we get a video package with Sanjay Dutt and Jay Lethal accepting the challenge. And then the match happened right away. I was kind of like, whoa, that happened fast. But yeah, so we get Jungle Boy versus Jay Lethal. This went about 12 minutes. I thought this was a really good, like technical wrestling match here. This was awesome.
Yeah, so Tony Khan did something a little different today. Throughout the day, more so the afternoon leading up to the show, he actually had little promos go out on their socials. So the Jungle Boy promo happened probably around like 3-ish, 2-ish today.
Okay.
And so the Jungle Boy promo that you saw was the first thing that got posted, where he kind of arrived at the arena and issued the open challenge saying he has to get back to work and get ready to face Luchasaurus. The Jay Lethal response was posted like an hour and a half, 2 hours later, more around like 5 or 6-ish.
Okay.
So like on TV, it looked like it was like bam, 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 but it was more like Jungle Boy showed up, issued an open challenge. Jay Lethal, you'd have to assume he heard of this open challenge 2 hours later and was like, well, I'm going to take him up on this then.
That makes sense.
That's how the match came to be.
I did see Tony Khan's tweet saying, watch for some promos from the wrestlers. And then, okay, I remember seeing that actually. All right.
Yeah. And then, what led to it was a really great match. And so there was a few things tonight, and Tony Khan was kind of, like you said, teasing it a lot, where like Tony Khan sometimes books these matches that are just great wrestling matches, and there's not necessarily really any build to them. But like tonight and today in general, he kind of did quick builds for these things. Like,
Yeah.
okay, so he did Jack Perry versus Jay Lethal. They shot videos for it, which led to it. It wasn't just a simple like, well, Jack Perry needs to get in shape, so let's have him. He's going to be in action against Jay Lethal. Like, no, they gave a challenge, a response to the challenge, and they kept going. This Friday on Rampage, they have 2 matches scheduled for Rampage that seem like just wrestling matches to fill the wrestling show. And both of those matches had segments tonight, which we'll get to, that led to these random matches. And I just thought that was really cool. I thought it's great to do a little bit of a build leading to these matches.
Yeah, I agree. That's cool. So in this match here, Jungle Boy attempted the kill switch. I was really surprised when I saw him attempt the kill switch there. It was almost like he was getting desperate. You know what I mean? And he tried using a move that Christian taught him, which was a little interesting. Because it didn't really come across as if he was trying to do it to spite Christian. You know what I mean? It came across like he was losing and he was trying to use it to finish this, to finish it off, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah. So that was interesting. Maybe they'll play a little bit more into the emotions with that stuff, but we shall see. Jungle Boy gets the submission with the snare trap. Jay Lethal taps out, and Jungle Boy looks strong here. Juha said it in Discord, and I was thinking along the same lines. I was actually expecting a Lethal win here, just so that we could get Jungle Boy kind of being like, damn it, how am I supposed to beat Christian when he comes back if I'm losing to Lethal, and maybe build him up a little bit. But I guess they're just going to keep building him up from here, not a big deal. Yeah.
I think picking up the wins is a good way to build him up. I mean, again, he hasn't really wrestled much since like June.
True.
Jungle Boy. Like, he hasn't wrestled. This is his first match, his first real match since June. So I like the idea that he's like, I need to go after Luchasaurus. My best friend turned on me. I need to get back into ring shape to be able to take out what's going to be my greatest adversary to date. So I think him picking up the wins is definitely a smart way to do that. But yeah, this was a great match. I'm just a huge fan of Jack Perry's in-ring work. Like, I know he's getting better with promos, but like, this guy is so good in the ring. He's just legit. And I really appreciated how much he sold his back injury too from All Out.
And it's funny that all they have to do to sell it to us is put some of that tape on there. That new sticky tape that athletes wear. You slap that anywhere on someone's body and we're like, oh, they got an injury right there. It's it's a cool little mind trick that they do with us in AEW, and they do it a lot. I like it.
Oh yeah, well they do those types of things all the time. There's another one later tonight in the main event that fucking had me on the floor.
Oh so yeah, for sure, dude. Me too. All right, next up was a really, really, really good video package of Hook training with Action Bronson. Now, I'm not sure if you love this as much as I did, but I want more videos like this of like training montages. This was freaking awesome. We even got Hook to speak at the end of this. He was like, next week, be ready. You know what I mean? Like I loved this. This was 10 out of 10 sports entertainment for me right here.
Yeah, man, it was a really cool video package. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm excited for Grand Slam next week. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I didn't know Action Bronson had a tattoo on the top of his bald head, but ow, that had to not feel good at all. Next up we got, I don't even know who this dude was, but they were introducing some official Pizzanato fashion guy of wrestling.
Wait a second. You don't know who Luigi Primo is?
Luigi Primo, you're going to have to explain this one to me.
All right. So here's the thing. King's Court, please. Sorry, my microphone's stuck.
Oh, you're good.
How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing excellent, sir.
So, are you aware of the internet, Jeff?
I am. I could Google him, yeah.
Juha saying, fucking Jeff, who are you? So, Jeff, Luigi Primo is a wrestler, who went viral on the internet over the last few weeks. There is a video, and you've probably seen the video, you just don't know who the fuck he is. but you should know just by looking at him. So there was a video that circulated. I think it was originally on Reddit, and it's one of those "if wrestling's fake, explain this." And basically, Luigi Primo wrestles his entire match while tossing the dough to make a pizza. And he's doing this. This guy's working this match, and he's like, "Juhas, if you could send this to Jeff, please. I'm currently
Please do.
doing
I
a
didn't
show."
hear or see this at all.
So this is hilarious, and I didn't know what the guy's name was, but it as soon as I saw him, I recognized him from the video, and I literally jumped out of my seat. I was like, "It's the pizza guy," and they're like, "It's Luigi Primo," and I was like, "That's your name? Okay, yeah, it's Luigi Primo." I saw on Twitter that Luigi Primo is wrestling Charlie Haas at an event coming up, which is cool. But so this segment was just so funny. So they have Luigi Primo show up because, of course, Alex Marvez is talking about, "Oh, we're going to be in New York next week. We'll talk, New York is all about pizza." And talking about pizza, here we have Luigi fucking Primo. And I'm like, oh my God, it's the guy from the viral video. Just incredible. My hat is off to Tony Khan for being like, you know what? We're going to fucking call Luigi Primo. I'm guessing he's from Albany. I'm going to assume he is.
Okay.
But I don't know that. But regardless, it was hilarious. Ethan Page comes in big boots and just fucking decks the dude, kicks him, knocks him out, and he's talking about I'm tired of wrestling not being serious. Sound like a real Jeff guy. He's like, "Oh, these Orange Cassidys, I can't stand them." Ethan Page just fucking lays him out. I love the way he falls too. Go back and watch this clip of Luigi Primo getting kicked in the face.
Yeah.
He's just like
Put it on my Facebook. Yeah, the last social media thing that I ever use. Okay, I'll have to open that and blow the dust off.
Again, I love that. And then Marvez is like, "What are you doing?" And then Danhausen comes out of nowhere, and he's like, I think he called Ethan Page Egon or something like that. And at one point, Ethan Page looks like he just wanted to start cracking up to Danhausen because Danhausen's also fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
this was such a fun segment. I was so entertained by this fucking segment. I was dying.
Yeah, and something dawned on me during this little promo here. So have you noticed how all the vlogs seem to have Danhausen on them, and they're all of these guys that are interacting with him on TV have been interacting with him in their vlogs and stuff like that? I think this was all done on purpose so that they never laugh at him on screen. Because if you don't have very much interaction with Danhausen, he's going to crack you. I've seen him do it to some of the best of them behind the scenes, you know what I mean? So I think that they were purposely hanging out with him so that they avoid the whole, cracking up while he's on screen thing. I'm just something I kind of noticed tonight, because Danhausen was trying and Ethan was fighting it. So
yeah, man. But it was what a hilarious segment. And this ends up setting up for a match on Rampage. Again, we have these little segments to kind of set these things up, and it's just Ethan Page saying, he's going to start with the jester of AEW. And I think Danhausen didn't quite catch it, that he was the jester. So he's like, "Yes, we will get this jester," or something like that. It was just thumbs up. Big thumbs up. All right.
Next up, we got a pretty cool video with Darby Allin joining the Nitro Circus. Darby was riding some sort of little adult tricycle down a gigantic ramp, and he was trying to hit a jump, but he kind of spun out at the top of the jump and wound up smashing into the wall and smashing into the ground. He hops up, he's fine, but I think he's trying to become
second time. He does do it the second time.
Was that him the second time? I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it was. No, he ends up doing it the second time.
Okay. And then he was like, "That was freaking terrifying." Yeah, I don't even know if I would have been able to get to the top of the ramp.
It's crazy because that's not even Darby's biggest stunt this month. So it's okay.
It's wild watching those guys go to the top of that ramp on the X Games and stuff, man. I want to say it's not like I have a fear of heights, but I have a fear of heights. Dude, I couldn't even get halfway up the stairs. I would be like, "Nope, that's it." I would clench the freaking railing and start walking down backwards, man. It'd be rough.
But so Matt Hardy, after the video package, Matt Hardy compliments Darby and talking about really kind of "Darby, you're kind of everything." He didn't say this, but he's like, "You're kind of everything that Jeff Hardy should be."
Yeah.
And it's okay. That's a great fucking compliment. But yeah, they do. Matt Hardy challenges Darby. He said on Friday on Rampage, like let's do it, man. Like I'm trying to reestablish myself here, and we've been friends before, we've been enemies before. Like let's go again. Which sets up for a match on Rampage.
Yeah, absolutely. Trav says Paige and Danhausen have been friends for a long time from wrestling on the Independents. Yeah, okay. Next up, we got Powerhouse Will Hobbs versus Matt DiMartino in about a 30-second match. I don't even know if it was much longer than that, maybe a minute.
I think Tony Khan did a great job finding the absolute skinniest local wrestler.
Yeah.
That he could find. Like this dude was a twig.
Dude, he looked like me when I was about 17, maybe like 16. I was like, oh my God, this guy's going to die. So yeah, this was your classic big man squash match. I think he just, I don't even remember. I think he slapped him once, threw him into the ropes, hit him with the spine to the pine, spine buster, and that was it. 1, 2, 3. We got Ricky Starks coming down from the crowd. He came down very nonchalantly, just kind of walked down the stairs, came straight through, walked over, and the way that he sidestepped the security guards was great. There was like 2 security guards in front of him, and he was just kind of nonchalantly like walking towards them, and then he did like a running back like woof woof sidestep thing and just blitzed right past him. He actually got the upper hand on Hobbs there, got a couple of shots in on him, threw Hobbs into the ropes, and then smashed him with the microphone. Hobbs backed off. Hobbs still looked strong here because the microphone thing didn't really knock him out or anything, just kind of knocked him out of the ring, and then he was all angry. But this was great. So, Hobbs looked great with his squash match, and then Ricky looked good getting the upper hand here. Can't wait to see round 2 for these guys.
Yeah, so it's really funny because I know Coach usually listens to us not live on Wednesdays because he's watching Dynamite on the West Coast.
Yep.
But I feel like this promo probably would have, like, at first it probably got a lot of heat from him because like Hobbs demands the mic, grabs it, talks about how like, yeah, I've known Ricky for a few years now. He's so tough, he's so great, but I beat him in 4 minutes and 55 seconds. Not that anybody's counting. At which case, again, like you said, Ricky shows up, and like this is how you can tell that someone is a star. Like, so when Ricky's walking down the steps, like they go back to the hard cam, and like you see the crowd as soon as they realize that Ricky's there, they fucking blow up on the hard cam, and it's such a great shot.
Dude.
Like the dude's a star. He's a mega star.
Oh, absolutely. Like, when he was walking down the steps, there were people scrambling to get their phones out to like get a picture of him as he was walking by. It was great.
Yeah, there were the "We Want Ricky" chants before he came out. But so I thought that Ricky was going to cut a promo, but no, he just, like you said, he sidesteps the security guards, gets in the ring, and just starts fighting.
Yeah, man. And real quick, right where Ricky came out, when he got to the bottom of those stairs, that is exactly where we will be sitting, is right on that corner. So if he had came out in Philly like that, he would have been right there next to us. So I can't wait for that, man. That's going to be sweet.
Yeah, I'm excited.
All right, next up was a Death Triangle promo on challenging the Lucha Brothers. I'm sorry, the Lucha Brothers are challenging Swerve and Our Glory for the tag championships tonight. Was this another one of the videos that happened earlier today? I was assuming so.
Yeah, that promo came out probably around 4. I should start, if they start doing this, maybe I'll start time stamping these for the show. But yeah, so basically they did a promo where again you saw this kind of weird cohesion or lack thereof between, like, actually it seems more like Pac and Abrahantes. Okay. Where it's like Pac is talking to them about how he's giving them this opportunity, and then Abrahantes just kind of like interrupts Pac, saying like, "We got it, boys. We got the shot." And like, I don't know, maybe I look at the little things because AEW, cherishes the little things, and they make you like really have to look for these things. But I do wonder, maybe it won't be like Pac and the Lucha Bros that have the issue. Maybe Abrahantes ends up being this issue with Pac. I mean, we'll see what happens. Yeah. But I mean, remember last week they kind of Pac cut Abrahantes off, and now here we are the next week. Abrahantes cut Pac off. So it's just something to note as we move forward.
Yeah, definitely. So immediately we get this match here. We got Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland versus the Lucha Brothers in a freaking fantastic match. I think this only went about 10 minutes, but it was still really, really good. They all got their stuff in. At one point, man, outside the ring, Fenix jumped over the ropes and Keith Lee catches him and then picks him up over his head and throws him like a javelin through the ropes to break up a pin. That was one of the coolest and craziest things I have ever seen in a wrestling match. The strength that it takes to throw another man like a freaking lawn dart is insane.
I'll do you one better.
Go for it.
They fucking hit this man, Keith Lee, with a fucking destroyer.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I lost my mind when Penta hits Keith Lee with that fucking destroyer.
Yep.
That's my spot of the match. Like, absolutely. Like, we really got this match on free TV. Like, we really did. This is one of those matches where it's like, this was a banger. It was just really fucking awesome.
Yeah, this needs to actually have a rematch. So here's my plan for the tag team division here. I want the Acclaimed obviously to win at Grand Slam. And then I want Lucha Brothers versus Swerve in Our Glory rematch for the #1 contendership. You know what I mean? I want to see this match again. I want to see it go 20 minutes. Not for a title. This was so good.
So my theory is that we're gonna. Obviously, I think next week is the Acclaim's time. You pull the trigger next week, like you absolutely do. Like these guys are right now the hottest act in the company. They're super over. Like it's just time. But so I think the Acclaimed win next week, and then I think they get a really good first test as champions to kind of help cement them. I think that they defend their titles against FTR.
Ooh, I would like that too. But that's a tough one for me because I would have to say I can't see FTR losing that match. But
that's why you do it. You do it because the Acclaimed, while they are the hottest act right now, they're homegrown talent. So you actually really need the Acclaimed to start their reign off, in my opinion, with like an established win. Or like an established defense. So I would say that the Acclaimed should defend their title successfully against. I mean, they're the #1 ranked tag team, and like if I had to guess, Tony Khan's probably sitting on that match. That's why they're ranked #1, if I had to assume.
Yeah, maybe you just run them through the top 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we shall see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I like. So the Acclaimed come out after the match, and instead of rapping, Max cuts a promo, which I thought the serious nature was a very nice change of pace. Actually, as much as we love the raps, I thought that this was really good because it showed you that Max can talk beyond doing a rap with rhyming lines. Which I thought was a great thing to show that he could do, and I thought he did a very great job.
I agree, and he still gave the crowd a chance to kind of get into it. He said the yo, he did that a couple of times. I think he even did it 3 times. Listen, and then he cut his promo, so the crowd still got to get in there with him, be like, yo, you know what I mean? So that was great. I thought this was fantastic work by Max Caster here tonight. I can't wait to see this rematch. He told Swerve, if you ever interrupt my rap again, I'm gonna beat your ass. That was great. That was one of my favorite things of the night.
Jeff, I hope you realize that we could potentially be on the road to an all-timer night for me next week. If you tell me that the Acclaimed win the tag team championships, Orange Cassidy wins the All-Atlantic Championship, and Bryan Danielson wins the fucking World Championship, that's it. Like, all right, well, that's Rome's night. That's my night right there. That's
And you know what the best part of it is we get to be at the Dynamite the following week for everyone's celebration night. The Acclaimed having a celebration if they win is going to be the best thing ever. A celebration in Philly. Oh.
Yeah, I can't even.
Oh, that's going to be awesome. So
Speaking of
yeah,
new
and then
All-Atlantic champions,
yeah. So we come back from the commercial, and we got Pac in the back with Alex Marvez. And Alex is kind of trying to ask the Lucha Brothers, hey, can I get a comment on this bump in the road? And Pac steps up all pissed off. He was pretty angry about him asking the question about bump in the road. I'm not sure why that bothered him so much, but Pac started to cut a pretty passionate promo about we're the trios champions, start putting some respect on our names. When out of nowhere, Pac eats an orange punch. Holy shit. So remember when we were having our first conversation about Orange Cassidy and a championship of some sort? And
Yes,
what was the
definitely.
belt that I immediately said that he should have? I said he should have the All Atlantic Championship. I want Orange Cassidy to win that belt so bad. And one more thing before you get started, because I see you picking up the mic there. I actually put Orange Cassidy here above my shoulder before Dynamite tonight. I had no idea this was going to happen. So.
Let's fucking go.
Hell yeah.
I loved this because it was so different for Orange Cassidy, but in a good way. But at the same time, he still kind of stuck true to the character with a very low energy. So
Yeah.
he fucking decks Pac, and like, I don't think I've ever found it so funny for someone to get like just decked.
Oh, he was
I was
KO'd
like,
too, eyes open, just staring at the ceiling.
he's, yeah, he's just like staring up, looking at the lights. He's just gone. And I love Cassidy comes over. He like, oh, well, I want to get down low. I have to move your leg. He moves his leg.
Yeah.
He picks up the mic. He's like, double champ, huh? Not for long. See you next week. And then he doesn't throw the mic. He places the mic down gently. And then he gets up and he walks away. I fucking love this man.
It was
I
great.
just do. I have reasons, but I'm not going to continue to list them. Just know, I fucking love Orange Cassidy.
He's great.
This man is a perfect package. For his size, of course. He is like so funny, so entertaining. Yes, he has a very low energy feel to him, but that's the point of him because when he explodes, it's crazy. And I loved him just coming in and just I also loved how they do the orange punch and like instead of like Pac turning around and like bracing for it, he just takes it by surprise.
Oh, if you blinked, you missed it. You know what I mean? It came out of nowhere and it was like boom, so.
But so I loved it. I see, I'm torn because part of me thinks that like they established that Ethan Page wants to win the All Atlantic Championship, and they're going to be in Canada second week in October. So it feels like to me that could be them setting up for that. But like I don't know if you want to play hot potato and like have Cassidy beat Pac just to drop the belt like 2-3 weeks later. But like, man, I really want Orange Cassidy to win this match on Wednesday. Trav Rock, I 100 million fucking % agree. Orange Cassidy should be heavyweight champion at some point. And here's the thing, Jeff, and here's what I would do, right? Because I do understand your critique of him. Here's what I would do. I would have Orange Cassidy, right? Do a storyline with whoever the champion is. Preferably a heel champion, obviously. And just have it be like, you can't do it. You can't do it. You can't do it. And just, that's the storyline. And then you have him defend the championship, right? And you have this big, heartfelt, emotional match where Cassidy's the underdog and he comes up and he wins the championship, right? He beats whoever it is for the World Heavyweight Championship. And then, like, a week later, he can lose it. Like, I don't even need it to be a long title reign. I just need it for the sake of the fact that he fucking deserves it. Like, just let the man win it, and then like whatever happens. Like if he could drop it a week later. Like obviously I would want him to have a legit title reign, but give the man his one night where he just like overcomes the odds and like just have him do it.
And yeah, so I'm willing to concede to you now that I would actually be okay with something exactly like what you described. And I've actually thought about how to lead up to it. So we could do this where he somehow gets the chance for this title shot, right? And whoever the champ is like, who am I facing? Oh, I don't even need to get ready for this guy. And like they could have cameras follow the champ and find him at like McDonald's and be like, yo, champ, aren't you like trying to get ready for your championship match? And he could be like, who, against that clown? You know what I mean? Like he could totally just take him lightly, like tremendously just overlook him. And then somehow in the match get absolutely surprised. And like you said, he could lose it a week or two later when some, a monster could show up, Bray Wyatt could show up and just smash him and take it. You know what I mean? That would be absolutely fine for me. Perfectly fine.
Maduja, to answer your question, Orange Cassidy is from wherever.
Wherever. Weighing whatever.
Freshly squeezed.
All right. So I do have to ask, did this feel like a little bit of a Orange Cassidy heel turn to you?
Not at all.
No? Just him challenging, I guess?
Again, I think that it actually gives me hope that this is the time for Cassidy to win some gold, because it was a very unexpected, but in a good way, thing. Like, I don't think Cassidy was a heel. I think Cassidy was, last week, Pac said, you're a joke. You are not a wrestler. Like, you are nothing, and I refuse to take you seriously.
Yeah.
Kind of what you said. So I think that the best way to respond to that is for Orange Cassidy to knock him the fuck out.
Yeah, when you ring someone's bell like that, it kind of forces them to take notice, so.
Yeah. I would also like to point out that in their first match, which was one of my favorite early AEW matches, Pac did beat Orange Cassidy. So hopefully maybe we can get that win back here.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Next up was a quick promo with Toni Storm and Athena backstage. And dude, I gotta say, this was one of the first times that a promo has swerved the crap out of me. Like the way that Toni Storm was so adamant about like, Britt, you and Serena Deeb are not gonna have fun tonight. I was like, oh yeah, Toni Storm and Athena are kicking these girls' asses tonight. But dude, that is not what happened, and that promo really got me thinking that's what was about to happen. And I'll admit it, man, I was absolutely shocked to see Toni Storm and Athena lose this match here tonight. Great match though, absolutely great match. Serena Deeb and Britt Baker versus Toni Storm and Athena. What'd you think?
Yeah, I thought it was a great match. Really fun tag match here.
Yeah.
Like my favorite spot, and it's not like a crazy spot, or I mean maybe it kind of is, but for some reason I was so extremely impressed by Athena fucking dead arm, like one hand lifting Serena Deeb up.
Yeah.
I thought that was wild. I was like Serena Deeb is she's not a big gal by any stretch of the imagination. She is a very slim, very fit, whatever she weighs. But like still, like Athena just like dead hands her.
Just
like not even grabbing her
straight
arm.
up.
I think Athena just lifts her hand up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's just impressive. Like that's fucking wild.
I
That's
audibly
impressive.
yelled. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. But so yeah, this is a great match, a lot of fun. Deeb and Britt end up cheating using a steel chair and a distraction from Rebel to roll up Toni for the win.
Yeah, I actually really liked the finish here. Britt basically put the steel chair in the corner. Rebel caused the distraction elsewhere, and they smashed Toni Storm's head into the chair. I loved the aftermatch here too, where they started, the beatdown, and Britt was about to take down Athena with the steel chair, and Jamie Hayter shows up. She takes the steel chair from Britt, but she winds up using it on Toni Storm. There's obviously still some beef with Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker, but they didn't get into a fight like I was anticipating here. Jamie made it obvious she still has a problem.
Yet. Yeah, they're teasing that collision. It's not happening yet, but it's coming.
Oh, it's coming. I can't wait. It's going to be great. All right. Next up, we had a promo backstage with Smart Mark Sterling, Tony Nese, and Josh Woods. Basically, we got Josh Woods versus Samoa Joe for the Ring of Honor TV title coming up, right? That's what this wound up coming out.
Yeah, that was what it was hyping up. Man, I really like this pairing, Woods, Nese, and Sterling.
Yeah,
I think it's a great. It just works. It works really well.
Together.
Tony Khan, if like you can say whatever you want about him, but if there's one thing that he just always seems to get right, it's like pairing guys together to make tag teams and factions. Like
Yeah.
on like for example, the Firm, right? On paper, I don't think anyone thinks or would have thought that the Firm would work on paper. Like, I really don't. Like, it's a very weird combination with Lee Moriarty and Ethan Page and the Gun Club and like Morrissey. Like, it's a very weird combo of guys. But like, it just fucking works.
Yeah.
And then like keep in mind other tag teams that Tony Khan has put together, Swerve in Our Glory, the Acclaimed, the Varsity Blondes. He just keeps putting these teams together and they just keep being great. So, like him just putting Woods, Nice, and Sterling together, it's just such a slam dunk. It just works. I like it a lot.
It's funny because they actually look like three dudes who would like actually hang out together. You know what I mean? So you're hitting the nail right on the head with that one. All right, next up was the main event: Chris Jericho versus Bryan Danielson. And man, you know, there was not a lot of matches tonight, but everything flowed so smoothly all the way to this point that, you know, this match didn't start till 9:39, so we had a good 21 minutes of Danielson versus Jericho here. And Danielson's still coming out of that heel tunnel. This is one of the first times I really paid attention to that because you guys made a point to show it last time. You know, what do you make of Danielson coming out of the heel tunnel? Do you just think it's something he does, or do you think we're getting to something eventually?
I just think it's something he does. I don't. He's not a heel. Like, watch this match and tell me he's a heel. Watch like his work and tell me he's a heel.
No, he's not. Yeah, I agree.
Jeff, I forgot to plug my laptop in. Take over for a second.
Yeah, you're absolutely fine. I'm going to go ahead and answer a quick question from Miyaja here. Miyaja says, kind of off topic, but I just saw some news that TNT and TBS want more wrestling. So maybe the Ring of Honor TV deal is coming. Whoa, that would be absolutely awesome. If we could do that and get another hour for Rampage as well, like Travrock says, that's what I would like. But dude, if we could get Ring of Honor as well, oh man, I'm totally in 100% on that one.
So yeah, that was actually one of the post-show stories I kind of had for us. There's a report that came out from a higher up at WBD. They want to do more content that really just fits with what AEW is. They want to do less. They want to spend less money on bringing in A-listers from Hollywood. They want to have sports, both scripted and unscripted, and they've also referred to AEW as quote unquote a major draw. So they want more content like that. One would have to assume that that means more wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely. So real quick, let's talk about that. So more wrestling. Immediately, the first thing that pops into my head is another hour for Rampage and make it live. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And like I said a while back, I think what we can do is we can do Ring of Honor as the pre-show taping to one of these shows. You know what I mean? Like they do Dark before Dynamite and then Rampage is after. So if we have Rampage as 2 hours and its own live show, we do the Ring of Honor 1 hour taping before Rampage. And I think that would be perfect, you know?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think you have, like you said, I think you do Dynamite, and when you do Dynamite on Wednesdays, you tape Elevation.
Yep.
When you do Rampage on Fridays, you tape Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
And then you keep doing Dark out of Orlando. And also when they do go home shows for pay-per-views or Battle of the Belts extra stuff. That's what I think they should do, and I would love to see it. I think that would be great. I would have, Dynamite on Wednesdays 2 hours, Rampage 2 hours on Fridays. Ring of Honor, I would put that. I feel like the go-to is Mondays, just because that way you're not doing like wrestling back-to-back nights any week.
Yeah.
I think apart from pay-per-views, of course. I think you're kind of setting Ring of Honor up for failure if you're putting it against Monday Night Raw. But
oh yeah.
Well, maybe if you do it at 7:00, maybe it comes on at like 7.
Well, I would throw it on like Thursday put it up against Impact. Well, no, I guess Impact wouldn't be too happy about that. Maybe Tuesday.
Yeah,
Throw it on
maybe
Tuesday up against
Tuesday.
NXT. You know, people who aren't watching NXT, they're not watching NXT. You know what I mean? You either are or you aren't at this point.
Yeah, my only argument for why that's not a good idea is because they have to do because then you're doing back-to-back nights, and I don't know if that
True.
can be a bit much. But then again, they're already doing Dark and Elevation on Mondays and Tuesdays, so maybe not. Maybe they do just go on Thursdays because that's the only other day where there's no AEW programming.
Yeah, I mean, if they did, I think Ring of Honor would finally be the nail in the coffin for Impact there. So I don't know if they have a good relationship. I doubt they would go Thursday. Now that I think about it, but we'll see.
Again, I could argue if you really wanted to, just go on at 7.
True. Yeah. Yeah. True. True. Definitely.
And that could go for Mondays too. Like really, I mean, like go on at 7. Like have it so Ring of Honor goes on, and like Thursday could be destination for non like AEW/WWE wrestling, because it's like on Thursdays you can get at 7 o'clock you get Ring of Honor, at 8 o'clock, 8 to 10 you get Impact, and then like I know 10 to 11 I think New Japan's on Axis after Impact. So like there you go, you get Ring of Honor, Impact, New Japan on a Thursday night.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm okay with that. All right, so back to this Chris Jericho versus Bryan Danielson match, man. I love how they pointed out to us that that Danielson has never beaten Chris Jericho. I was not aware of that until they made a point to say it before the match here. So it really made this an interesting match for me. uh, Daniel Garcia was backstage watching the match like a true sports entertainer. He was watching over the shoulder, the TV with his whole body turned facing the camera. It was hilarious. What character did you see Jericho as in this one? This was kind of just Chris Jericho, right? Or did you see Y2J or anything like that? Because the crowd was chanting Y2J.
Well, so Jericho doesn't like Y2J anymore. He said it in the past year or so that that's a past thing. Jericho is one of those guys, he likes to keep innovating
Yeah.
and keep moving on to the next thing. It's why he creates all these names. Like he kind of just keeps trying to do the next thing. Like he was Le Champion, and then, before that it was the Painmaker, and then since then like the Wizard thing, and now he's trying to do this BECE. What is it? B hashtag B hashtag
It's
C.
BW. It's like best wrestler ever. It's
It's BWBC. Thank you. Yeah,
yeah.
it's BWBC, and he has a T-shirt now where it says it on the bottom, like Chris Jericho, the Lionheart, BWBC. But no, I think this was just Jericho. This was just Chris Jericho. And this match was just two goats working. This was a physical
Absolutely.
match. A really good match. The ending had my heart pounding through my chest, which was great,
Oh,
or not great.
dude.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, me too, man. When he hit the ground and grabbed his ankle there, I was freaking out for a second. But they had the doctor come over, they had Aubrey come over. Danielson immediately starts taking his shoe off, and I was like, oh god. But
That's
the
where
moment I
was
saw
like,
Jericho
oh,
walk over, I was like, oh, thank God he's fine. Okay.
yeah, exactly. So the timeline there where Jericho suplexes him over and Danielson lands weird. I'm like, that's not good. That doesn't look good. And then of course Aubrey waves Doc Samson over. So then I'm like, shoot, okay. Well, there's still a chance this is a work. And then Danielson, they start taking off his boot, and I'm like, fuck, no, we can't keep having this happen. Like I was very frustrated at first, and then Jericho is like, well, I'm just gonna beat the shit out of him. And he starts working the leg, and I was like, thank the Lord. my heart could not take that. If you had told me Danielson had like hurt himself and he's out, I'm just like, no.
He might be one of the best sellers on the planet. He can sell to the point where I have no idea if it's real or not. Like, it's crazy.
He's the greatest wrestler of all time.
Yeah. Very good.
When it comes to in the ring work, like there's no one better than Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
But so yeah, this is a masterfully done spot here, which really led to, it elevated the match, and it made the match so much more high stakes, it felt like.
Yeah.
You were just saying he sold that so well that he also thought it was real.
Yeah, and
Um,
Jericho pulling the figure 4 on the ring post. I am a huge fan of that move. I'm glad they don't use it very often, and when it's done, it's done. It looks great. That was the perfect time to pull that move out. It was great.
yeah. Um, but yeah, the last quarter of this match was fucking wild. Bryan Danielson ends up winning with the LaBelle lock. And next week, the main event of Grand Slam for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship will be Jon Moxley versus Bryan Danielson. Let's fucking go. I'm so excited for this. They end with a stare down, and yeah, they shake.
Let's
they shake
fucking
hands.
go.
Yeah, I can't wait. I know we kind of called this as soon as the tournament started. I know this is what we wanted. I hope this is what everybody else wanted as well. Danielson versus Mox is going to be absolute fucking fire. I expect both of them to be bloody at the end of the match like they were in the first one. I hope they go 30 minutes minimum.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited for this match. The recent events, they've sucked, but I want Bryan Danielson to win this world championship
Absolutely.
so badly.
Absolutely.
Now, there is a little bit of history repeating itself here, and have you noticed that?
In what way? Please elaborate.
So let's go back to what really was the last time I was a happy WWE fan, shall we?
All right.
Let us go back to the year 2013. Things were a lot different back then. Jeff, you were like 60. And so the Royal Rumble happens. CM Punk gets eliminated. CM Punk, that was his last night in WWE. Right? So the plan was for CM Punk at WrestleMania 30 to face Triple H, and for Bryan Danielson, then at the time Daniel Bryan, to face Sheamus in a rematch of the previous year's WrestleMania. Or maybe it was 2 WrestleManias prior. I think it was
Okay.
2 WrestleManias prior. CM Punk walks out. Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, replaces CM Punk and takes his spot to face Triple H. Now, also, he becomes so over. The fans basically say, no, this is our guy. And Vince McMahon, his hands are tied. And, Bryan Danielson goes on to have what is probably one of my last favorite WrestleMania moments, if not my favorite WrestleMania moment, is Danielson beating Triple H in the first 45 minutes of the show and then going into the main event. But the point I'm getting at is, isn't it fucking wild that we have CM Punk being taken out of the equation and his replacement is Bryan Danielson?
That is actually a really good point that you make there. I did not catch that. That's actually really cool. Which makes me think even more that this could be planned, because man, are they getting extremely detailed with this. Like, too many things, man. Too many things.
I know. It's who knows? But it's a fucking wild coincidence. And again, George Lucas once said, great storytelling rhymes. Just want everyone to remember that.
Yeah, that's wild, man. Wow.
But I'm so excited for Bryan Danielson. Like, this is his time. Like, I know that for him, the world title isn't what's important. He did an interview with Sports Illustrated, and like for him, like he said it, like he's like, for me, it's not about winning the title. Like, it's about being in the championship atmosphere, being in those matches, the adrenaline of being in those moments is why he loves it. He's like, it's not about the gold belt. It's not about being a leader in the locker room. You don't need a gold belt to be a leader in the locker room, which was also fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
But so I'm really excited for this. I think he should beat Mox. And then I think he'll hold it till Full Gear in November, where I would imagine MJF beats him. Now, here's the thing that worries me. Not really worries me, but it seems like they're setting up for MJF versus Moxley. It seems very strongly that that's the direction they're going.
Yes.
I wonder if that's a sign of Moxley winning, or if they're not going to put MJF right into the title picture right away.
That's what I'm thinking. They're not going to put him into it right away. That kind of is how it feels to me. Because he can do it any time he wants. He's going to pick his moment,
Hopefully, I hope Danielson gets a good reign. He deserves it, especially if this is probably his only one he's going to get in AEW. Because again, he just likes to work. So I don't know. I don't know if they would give it to him again just because of that. But at the same time, it's Bryan fucking Danielson. He should win it
Yeah,
more than once.
absolutely. I say you give him a good reign of a couple months at the least. Have him put some respect on the belt. You know what I mean? Have him come out and challenge anybody. Get your ass out here. I don't care who it is. Open championship type. Open match type thing. Open challenge type thing. Yeah. I'm totally in for a Danielson run here of just running through some people. I love it.
Yeah. So this was an excellent Dynamite that sets up for a really excellent Grand Slam that we're going to get next week. And, and then we'll be going to Dynamite in Philly the following week.
Absolutely. I can't wait, man. I cannot wait. So we kind of just started a quick little question line I wanted to run through here. So you said that Bryan Danielson Triple H WrestleMania moment, the whole show was one of your favorites. Can you think of one that you might have liked better, or is that going to be your favorite there?
I think there are moments that I like a lot, obviously, in WrestleMania history, but I do think that Daniel Bryan in WrestleMania 30 is a culmination of like, it's my favorite WrestleMania moment. I also think it's kind of the moment where, like, as a wrestling fan, I don't want to put this, like, I think I like moved to the next, like, not level, but it's just like, I don't know, like, I feel like the Rome of today, like, that love of wrestling was really like fucking ignited there.
Yeah.
Like, I loved wrestling beforehand, don't get me wrong. I've been to shows, watched pay-per-views, bought t-shirts, bought video games. Like, I was a fan beforehand. But, like, that WrestleMania 30, like, moment with Bryan Danielson is just one of the most genuine, real fucking moments in wrestling.
Yep.
And it's just beautiful. And, like, it's funny because I was talking to Juan in the Discord a few days ago, talking about 5-star WWE matches. And, like, that's a 5-star match. Daniel Bryan versus Triple H at WrestleMania 30, that's a 5-star match. They went 45 minutes. They played with our emotions. They told a fucking masterful story. Which, again, like, I am a big fan of Triple H's in-ring work because he was called The Game. He was very good at storytelling in his matches. And, like, yeah, I mean, I think that moment's my favorite WrestleMania moment of all time.
So for me, it's tough to choose between my moments, because I have one moment that's like a memory that I have of, like, me and my dad watching WrestleMania together. And, that's the Stone Cold versus Shawn Michaels, Mike Tyson, jumping in the ring, 1, 2, 3. But for me alone, just watching wrestling and just wrestling in general moment, that was one of the greatest moments I've ever seen in wrestling history, with the whole culmination of him beating Triple H and then coming in and tapping out Batista to win that title, and the confetti dropping and just seeing him hold up both belts, man. Like, that was unreal for me. I think you hit it on the head. Like, that was what solidified me as, like, a wrestling fan at the moment. You know what I mean? I was just like, wow, this was fucking incredible.
Yeah, it's like, and it's really funny because if you look back on WrestleMania 30, rest of the show, dog shit.
Yeah. And now, can anybody confirm this for me? Was this the same weekend that NXT did their takeover where Bayley versus Sasha Banks happened? Because that is my favorite women's match of all time. And if those two matches happened on, like, consecutive days, that would be a very good weekend for the E there.
Yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, it's a moment in time as a wrestling fandom, and it's one of those moments that, like, if you were making, like, it sounds kind of, like, dramatic. If you were making, like, a documentary of AEW, and it wasn't like an AEW made documentary, like, moments that you would include leading up to it are, like, CM Punk's pipe bomb, CM Punk walking out, and Daniel Bryan winning the world title at WrestleMania 30 in, like, a moment in time where the establishment tried to tell the fans what they wanted. They were like, we have this guy, Randy Orton, Batista, this is going to be our main event, and then, like, we're going to have this Roman Reigns guy come out. And it just, like, just rejection of the fan base saying, no, this is our guy. We understand that those are your guys.
Yep.
This is our guy. You may not understand him. You don't need to fucking understand him. He's an excellent wrestler with an excellent gimmick who just, we fucking love this guy, and you're going to push him. You don't have a choice in that.
Yep.
We are going to chant his name at every single fucking show that you do. We are going to hijack your shows. We are not going to cheer for who you want us to cheer. We are going to do what we want to fucking do. And I think that that's such an important moment in like the history of wrestling, because it is that paradigm shift where like beforehand, like after WCW closed, like yeah, there were other options, but WWE was the only place. And it was either like, it was like the infamous Triple H promo said in, I think it was 2016. It's like, hey, if you don't like it, don't watch. It's like, okay. Like, that's fine. If that, like, all right, well, sure, I won't then. But yeah, it's a moment in time in my wrestling fandom, at least, that just, yeah, beautiful moment. Again, dog shit show though. Like, Bray Wyatt lost to John Cena on that show,
Yeah.
I believe. Taker lost to Lesnar. Like, all around awful show. But man,
that was the Taker
bookends-
Lesnar, wasn't it? Oof.
That was WrestleMania 30. Yes, that was, again, like, it's so, like, that night is so monumental to me being a wrestling fan, the fan that I am today, because not only did they show me the highs that pro wrestling could fucking achieve, but it also showed me the lows that product was okay with. And it's just,
Yeah.
like, yeah, you watch WrestleMania 30, you'll find out why I don't like fucking WWE anymore.
All right, so what do we got for this Friday on Rampage? I know they announced like 4 matches.
Well, before we do that, I just wanted to kind of do a quick little
go for it.
news story. Quick little news story. Pat Buck is off of suspension and is backstage at AEW. Other names that were trying to break up the fight that were previously suspended. Brian Alvarez of The Observer reported that those guys, like Christopher Daniels and Brandon Cutler, they are also no longer suspended. They may report to work. Daniels and Nakazawa are scheduled to be in Japan with Kenny. We actually know that Kenny is in Japan. He took a picture with Kota Ibushi today, met up with his buddy. He also had his face scanned by Sega for the new Yakuza game. He's going to be in that game, which is fucking dope. And you would have to assume he's going to be there at Tokyo Game Show for AEW. So yeah, I think that that's kind of a sign of where we're heading. I would like to hope that the third-party investigation will be over soon. I'm hopeful that as time goes on, I'm kind of hopeful that nobody's going to get fired here. I think CM Punk is going to sit home for 9 months and think about what he did. I don't think Tony Khan's going to pay him. I think the Elite will be back, hopefully within weeks. That's just my vibe of it. I mean, obviously, I have no source. I could be 100% fucking wrong. But the fact that we're slowly getting to the bottom of this, where, like, okay, Pat Buck can come back to work. The guys that, we're breaking up the fight can come back to work. I would like to hope that we're kind of getting to a point where we can put this behind us. And no matter what they're doing, like whether they're firing someone or whatever it is, I just want it to be in the rear view. So let's hopefully we can get to that soon.
Kevin Nash said Punk threw the first punch. I think that's the general consensus now, is he was very grumpy. He had just learned he had an injury. He just got treated by medical. Yeah, I think we all kind of know what happened now.
Yeah. Which, like, I'm still not defending Punk. Like, again, my stance is my stance. I still stand by my stance. But there is some sympathy there. Like, if the guy just learned that he's going to be out for, like, another 9 months.
Yep.
Like, I can understand it. I can sympathize. Again, I don't think there's any excuse for, like, you can't act that way no matter what. You're expected to be a locker room leader. Not only are you the world champion, but you are CM Punk. You are this guy who is a building block of the company, is a veteran that a lot of people look up to, is one of the top draws. Like, you just can't act that way. So,
you can't do that.
We'll see what happens. But so I just wanted to kind of bring up that story that the people are starting to get back to work a little bit on.
Sometimes these young kids don't know who they're messing with, man. CM Punk's from the mean streets of Chicago. come walking up to someone like that talking some shit, probably gonna get punched in the mouth.
Well, then maybe you probably shouldn't say like, "Oh, hey, make sure you fucking come and talk to me."
Well, he did say, "Let's fucking go." Like, if you come talk to me, we're probably gonna fight, but not condoning what he did at all. Not at all.
Well, that's why they brought the head of legal with them, because they didn't want to fight.
They knew that shit was gonna happen. So
They
here, let's go
did,
down
but
this.
I don't think.
Let's do a quick go down this little rabbit hole here. I see some people saying that what if they baited him into this entire thing, knowing that he would react this way?
First of all, we're not sponsored. I just really fucking love Liquid Death.
Oh yeah, me too.
First of all, that's ridiculous. I don't buy that for 1 second. The people saying that are the people that just don't like the Young Bucks. If you don't like the Young Bucks, just say you don't like the Young Bucks.
Well, no, I mean, let's say you're a Young Bucks fan and you don't like CM Punk. I actually think this would be genius on their part, and I would be like, holy shit, that was freaking crazy. So like, let's say that they knew he would react like this. They, just for devil's advocate, they did put out a couple of rumors, you know what I'm saying, about the whole Colt Cabana thing, waiting for him to blow up and say something. They knew that it was going to happen. They walked back there and they made sure to bring the legal lady with them. And sure enough, one of them gets punched in the face, and problem solved. Mr. CM Punk gone,
I just don't, that, like, it doesn't make sense to me.
No,
Like,
I agree.
I think those are again, it's the reason why I've been off of the internet. It's like, that story just sounds ridiculous. Like, I just don't buy it. Like, I've seen the Young Bucks, and I've seen, between the BTE stuff and just like the way they connect with fans, like, they don't seem like malicious dudes at all. Like, none of them do. They're just a bunch of dorks.
Yeah,
like, I'm a dork, so I can tell when I see a fucking dork.
I
Like,
tell you what,
I mean?
though, that could be the storyline that they use if everybody starts deciding to be adults about this and they turn this into a story and try to make some money off of it. That could be the storyline that they go with, that the Bucks were the masterminds, or Kenny was a mastermind and leaked it to the dirt sheets and all that stuff. They could make all of that true, or, true to the story. I think that would actually be pretty nice.
Yeah, and if that's the plan, that's great.
Yeah.
But again, I think at the end of the day, I think the Elite went into that locker room with the head of legal because they knew that they were walking into a volatile situation.
Yeah.
And they wanted to prevent that. I really do think that. At the end of the day, AEW is very important to the Bucks and to Kenny. They are founding members. It was their baby. Even when they're out of the ring, like, I feel like they're going to be a part of this company for a long, 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 long time. I just don't see them, knowing full well that this is going to be a huge thing, knowing full well you've had meetings the past week about other people having issues. I just don't see Kenny and Nick and Matt just sitting in the locker room being like, let's go fucking start some shit and really hurt this company.
No.
I just don't see it. It doesn't make sense. Like,
no.
Because at the end of the day, like, if you went in there to start shit, like, that's hurting your company. Like, it doesn't matter if you're getting your way and Punk gets fired or not. Like, assuming that we're going down the possibility that they did want to get him fired. Like why would they do that? Like, it just doesn't make sense that you would hurt the company in that way. If anything, if they wanted Punk gone, they would have had a meeting with him and Tony and a lot more civilized, which it seems like they tried to do. Tony was speaking to the media, doing the media scrum, and they were like, we need to talk this out because you can't say stuff like that. It's not true, first of all.
Yeah.
Like, we need to discuss this like adults, like we've been preaching to the younger talent for a few weeks now. So they went and they got the next best person, which is the head of legal, next best after Tony, and they brought her with them. And I think Punk was emotional. I think Punk was emotional leading into it as well. And I mean,
I'm gonna tell you, I would be surprised if Punk had any clue who that lady was.
I don't know.
I bet he looked at her and was like, who the fuck is this lady?
There's no way he doesn't know who the head of fucking legal is. We don't know who she is because we don't work there. She's oversees a bunch of shit. She's the head of legal.
Yeah, but I bet he's met her once. Maybe on the first visit to the office he met her. Like, she's not... Maybe she's there every week with every show, but I would think somebody like her sits in an office somewhere,
I think she's there regularly. She's
All right, if
very.
that's the case, he probably does know her. But I was thinking he was probably like, "Who the hell is she?" Like, because that
Are you
would be
kidding me?
really
With a
dumb to
live
do that
event, with
right
a
in front
live
of her.
event where a lot of things can go wrong, absolutely, you want your head of legal there at all times.
I can see that. I can see that.
Especially because AEW doesn't have a crazy schedule. Like for her, it's just like, okay, you're on the road like 2 nights a week, except for pay-per-view weeks, you do a little bit extra work. But like,
Yeah.
no, if you're head of legal, like you show up in town on Tuesday with the rest of the talent, you're there for Wednesday, you fly out Thursday. It's a 3-day work week for you, and you get paid millions of dollars. It's
Yeah,
great.
that's true. I could see that.
Again, I don't know, but like she seems involved. Like she's like the only person other than Tony and his dad who are on the executive level who get like the happy birthday thing from AEW.
Yeah.
Like like she's a main thing there. So
I,
no, I don't really buy that.
I'm pretty sure they put her as second in command. She's right behind Tony.
Exactly, yeah. If
Yeah.
you know, if something were to happen to Tony, she would be the head of AEW.
I was just thinking, like, in the heat of the moment, the Bucks coming in and, her being there with them. I was just thinking maybe he was like, who the hell is she? And because you would think that would really cause you to not want to do something like that with her in the room. So we'll see.
I mean, I guess unless it's a work, we'll
Exactly.
see what happens.
All right. So go ahead. What do we got going on for this Friday on Rampage?
All right, so this Friday on Rampage, we have.
This is not a live Rampage, right?
At the end too. What?
This is not a live Rampage, right?
No, this is not a live Rampage. So we have the Ring of Honor World Television Championship, Samoa Joe versus Josh Woods. We have Ethan Page versus Danhausen. Penelope Ford versus Willow Nightingale.
Willow!
Matt Hardy versus Darby Allin. And then next week we have AEW Grand Slam, which is a 2-hour Dynamite and a 2-hour Rampage. Rampage will not be live; it will be taped on Wednesday night.
Okay.
So we have for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, we have Bryan Danielson versus Jon Moxley. We have the AEW World Tag Team Championship, Swerve in Our Glory versus the Acclaimed. We have a 4-way dance for the interim Women's World Championship announced. Toni Storm versus Serena Deeb versus Athena versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Meduja, have a great night, man. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Night,
We have the All-Atlantic Championship match, Pac versus Orange Cassidy. And then on Friday, we only have one match announced so far. It is Action Bronson and Hook versus Daddy Magic Matt Menard and Cool Hand Angelo Parker.
That's going to be a great Rampage, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, we only have one match announced for it right now. We'll see what happens this week. And then, what is that, 4? We have 4 matches announced for Dynamite. So,
Oh, yeah, that's going to be... I can't wait for the Grand Slam there. Grand Slam's going to be freaking awesome. I can't wait for Danielson versus Mox.
Yeah.
Ooh,
It's going to be a really good
awesome.
show. I'm really excited.
What's that?
I said, yeah, I'm really excited for the show. I'm really excited for Grand Slam.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So, I guess we'll do a game of the 20 questions here.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Yep. Let's do a game here. Go ahead and choose. I have moved away from your screen. I cannot see.
Okay.
Oh man, it's a beautiful night up here on the top of the Bellagio Hotel and Casino. Please hit that like and subscribe button if you guys have not already. I think we're at 9 likes. We love to hit 10 every night here. Please try to get us to 10 if you have not hit that like button already. And right now, Rome is choosing a video game from his extensive library. I'm going to play 20 questions trying to figure out what game he has chosen.
Right, go for it.
All right, let's go ahead and get started here with question numero uno. Is this a shooter of any kind?
Nope.
No shooter. All right. Is this a racing game of any kind?
Nope.
All right. Is this a sports game of any kind?
Nope.
All right. Is this a RPG of any kind?
No.
Oh, man. All right, let's try your favorite genre of, is this an action adventure game?
I would say no.
Okay. It's interesting. What what genre are we missing here? All right, let's see. Is this set in the Nintendo world?
No.
No. All right. Is this game meant to be realistic?
No.
No. Okay. Is this game set in outer space or on another planet away from Earth?
Yes.
Okay. We're looking at other planets or outer space. Ooh. Let's try to. Is this game set in the Star Wars universe?
It is.
Oh, I got lucky on that one.
Look
All
at that.
right.
Look at you go.
Okay, let's see if I can
You
do
never
this
asked
with.
that question either. Like, that's so funny.
Yeah, I've never asked that before. Actually, I don't know why it just popped into my head. That was pretty cool. All right, so let's try to narrow down a system. So, was this on the Nintendo 64?
No.
No. Okay. Oh, this is gonna be tough. Is this game on multiple systems?
Yes.
Okay. Let's eliminate some of the. Is this game in the Lego universe?
No.
No. Okay, so it's none of the Lego Star Wars. Oh, let's go, Juhas. I was right there with you. Okay. None of the Lego ones. So, oh man, what do we have recently? Yeah, would this be would this be on one of the newer gen consoles like PS4 or higher?
Well, number one, no. Number two, when you say new gen, I'm going to assume you're saying PS5, Series X.
Well, that's
and
why I
Switch.
specify. I like to. I still consider
Okay.
it back to PS4 because games are still coming out on that system with the other systems.
We're almost at the point where they're not, but no. The
Yeah, I
answer to your
know.
question is
I know.
no.
We're
They are not
close.
on the PS4 or later.
Jedi Fallen Order. Okay. Let's see here. All right. So looks like we're looking at after the. Oh, wait. Okay. So it wasn't the 64, but it could still be like Super Nintendo. Let's see. How
That's
many
a
questions I
challenge.
got left?
You have 8 left.
8 left. Okay, so let's try one of them here. Is this on a console that is pre Nintendo 64?
No.
No, okay. So we're post 64, we're pre PS4. I think that's a good one. It's Force Unleashed 2. Okay. Um yeah, I think you're down the right. That's where I was heading. I'm trying to figure out what kind of questions to ask to get to the Force Unleashed. Uh But wouldn't that be an RPG, really? Or an action adventure? Oh, man. Does it involve The Apprentice? That's a good question. That is my next question. Does it involve The
Oh, okay.
Apprentice?
Sorry, I thought you were still mulling over your options. Yes, it does involve an apprentice.
Okay. I did ask if it was any racing, so there's no racing, but it does involve The Apprentice. So I'm thinking Force Unleashed. But is it Force Unleashed 2?
I said an apprentice.
Yeah, he said an apprentice. I did say, does it have The Apprentice?
Oh, are you asking a specific question?
Yeah, that was what I was asking. Does it involve The Apprentice?
Who's the apprentice? I don't know who you're talking about because that would not be that character's actual name if it is who
Okay.
I think you're referring to. That character has a name. so I can't really answer that question.
Gotcha. Would the apprentice's name be Star Killer?
Is that a question?
Yes.
Yes, it would be.
All right. Well, here I am being handed another victory.
It's always somebody else.
Always someone.
Never you.
I did hit the universe though. I'm pretty proud of that actually. I don't know where that came from in my mind. All right. So, would this be one of the Force Unleashed games?
It would be.
What's that?
It would be, yes.
All right. Would this be the second of the Force Unleashed games?
No, it is not.
No. Okay. That'd be funny if there's like 5 of them, and for some reason that number 2 is not the second one. Okay. How many Force Unleashed games are there?
I don't know. Well, I do know, but I can't tell you.
All right. Well, yeah. Let's say, was it the first of the Force Unleashed?
It was.
All right. So we will go with Star Wars: The Force Unleashed. Final answer.
Correct.
Right on. Good job, Juhas. I take partial credit of figuring out the universe this time.
Yeah, I'll give you like a half point.
That's really weird that it just like randomly like smacked me in the head. It was like Star Wars, and I was like, "Huh, let's see about this universe," because I've never asked about that before.
I realized that the camera did not catch it because of the fucking light ring. Hopefully that's a little bit
Angle it
better.
a little to your left. There you go. You always gotta do it angle away from the light. Star Wars: Force Unleashed.
But all right,
that was a good one. I think we'll call it at 1 for tonight. I'm not feeling it too much here.
Yeah, I got you.
I actually needed a Red Bull tonight to get through the night. Today was rough at work, man. They threw like 1,000 Amazon vehicles at me. It was crazy.
Damn, really? That sucks.
Yeah. But thank you guys very much for joining us in the chat tonight, especially Miaja, Juhas, and Travrock. Thank you guys very much. Rome, you want to go ahead and close us out?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this has been episode 73 of the Broken Tables podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider giving us a like or subscribe, depending on where you find us, or a follow. Thank you to everyone who was hanging out with us live here on youtube.com/the Broken Tables podcast. Thank you to everyone who's not listening live, everyone listening, in the future, aka the coach. Thank you to everyone who's also listening to us not on YouTube. That includes Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, and Anchor. You can follow us on Twitter at The Broken Table Show, or on Facebook and Instagram at The Broken Tables Podcast. We go live on YouTube following every single AEW Dynamite, Rampage, and even pay-per-views. Grand Slam is next week. Get hype. See everybody on Friday. Have a great Thursday.
Absolutely. Thank you guys very much again for joining us tonight. If you haven't, please hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for your notifications. Go out to your local Target and pick up some lovely Liquid Death. It's delicious. We are not sponsored, by the way.
No, really not. Really not. Not a penny.
All right, so we definitely appreciate you guys joining. Let's see, did anybody get us to 10? Somebody hit that like button, get us to 10, please. You guys have a great night. And until next time, top guys out.